Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. Today, our group will be presenting our operational management analysis and improvement plan for Radius Restaurant here in Emporia. Our goal with this project was to understand how the restaurant currently operates, identify any inefficiencies or challenges they face, and propose realistic solutions that can help them perform better during busy times. Throughout the presentation, we'll walk through our data, show what we found, and explain how Radius can improve its workflow, reduce costs, and improve satisfaction. Radius is a very popular local restaurant and naturally gets very busy during certain hours. As the customer base has grown, some of the processes inside the restaurant have not grown with it. Because of that, there are several operational challenges that impact service speed and overall efficiency. In today's presentation, we're going to go through the data we collected from employees, managers, and on-site observations. Then we will analyze where the major problems are happening and why. Finally, we'll share a set of solutions we believe Radius can realistically implement, most of which do not require major investments or remodeling. By the end, our goal is to show how these improvements can help Radius serve customers faster, reduce food waste, increase revenue, and make the overall dining experience smoother. Through our visits and conversations with staff, we noticed several reoccurring issues. These are not unusual for restaurants that experience heavy rushes, but they become more noticeable when the business grows. The main problems we identified were operational management issues, slow efficiency during peak hours, outdated workflows, high food waste, inventory shortages, and inconsistent communication between front of house and kitchen staff. All of these challenges work together in a way that slows down service, increases wait times, and sometimes even reduces sales simply because the restaurant can't keep up during its busiest times. Slide 4. To understand these challenges more clearly, we collected real data across different shifts and different days. We observed service in person and asked employees and managers about their daily pain points. We gathered information on ticket times, table turnover, staffing levels, waste patterns, peak hour behavior, inventory shortages, menu performance, and customer wait times. We also talked with a manager to understand what they see as their biggest operational challenge. This mix of qualitative and quantitative data gave us a complete realistic picture of how Radius functions on a daily basis. Slide 5, key performance numbers. The numbers we collected tell an important story. Ticket times average between 15 and 20 minutes. Tables turn over in about 45 minutes to an hour. On busy nights, customers wait around 15 to 20 minutes for a table. And peak hours consistently hit from 12 to 1 p.m. and again from 6 to 7:30 p.m. What these numbers show us is that Radius handles normal flow just fine. The problems really come during peak periods where demand rises quickly. This tells us the current process can't scale efficiently when volume surges. Slide 6, food waste observation. We also tracked food waste, which is a major cost factor for restaurants. We found that salads, lettuce, expired hamburger meat, and dough from the 6-inch pizzas were the biggest contributors. For the 6-inch pizzas, the dough waste was almost equal to the amount of dough used for the pizza itself. This tells us portioning is inconsistent or the recipe design isn't efficient. Food waste doesn't just cost money, it slows the kitchen because staff have to remake items or prep extra ingredients to replace what they lost. And slide 7, menu performance analysis. When we looked at which menu items sold well, the top sellers were the bacon jam burger, the radius pizza, and the pretzel bread with beer cheese. These menu items are not only popular, but also important for the restaurant's revenue. On the other hand, items like the beer cheese soup, the vegetarian Philly, and the blue cheese fries sold much less frequently. Low selling items still require prep, storage, and training, but they don't bring in much profit. In some cases, slow sellers actually slow down the kitchen because they require unique ingredients or extra steps.
In our review of Radius Brewing Company, we found that Radius has a few key inventory pain points, such as pizza boxes and Scotch eggs, and other few key items that just slows down operations as a whole. It makes it so customers have to order different items than they wanted, making them unhappy, and our servers have to deal with that. I guess these servers have to deal with that. It makes it so cooks have to switch up different menu items. They have to adjust to make these customers happy, which just overall will slow down the kitchen. It also will slow down front of house. It makes it so tables don't turn over as quickly. And it creates this stress for servers, which you wouldn't think is a super big deal, but in the bigger picture, it really is. It makes it so servers they're stressed. They'll go to their table stressed, and then the customers will see that, and just make it an overall not yeah an overall worse experience for the customers, which will just reduce revenue as a whole. Um, Also, in our review of Radius, we took a look at the technology systems that Radius uses. They use things like Toast POS for their ordering and ticket management. They use their Sling app for scheduling, and they use handheld devices that go through Toast to help with tableside ordering. These are all modern items, and a lot of restaurants use them. They're really good for restaurant and service industry as a whole. Um, but at Radius specifically, they're not using them to their greatest ability. They have a structural issue um, with the technology. Some examples of that is like they're not using Toast to predict rushes. Um, they're not getting good communication out of Toast as a whole when items are like the inventory issues they're having when they're out of certain items. They're super inconsistent with it. Um, it just makes it harder for customer or for servers and kitchen to communicate as a whole. So it's a really simple structural issue that can be fixed. But that is something we noticed in our review for Radius. Um, we were able to sit down and talk to the kitchen manager and front of house manager, and both of them said that kitchen efficiency is the biggest problem in the restaurant right now, and that's going to create this like bottleneck effect, which we'll talk about here in a second. Um, it just makes it so tables are there longer. There's longer wait times. Tickets take longer to get out to the tables. It makes customers unhappy. Servers make less money, which is the only money they make is tips. So when they're getting less table turnover, they're going to make less money. Servers are going to be frustrated. Revenue is just dropping as a whole with kitchen inefficiency. And with kitchen inefficiency, we showed that with this fishbone diagram. Um, we used different categories such as people, process, layout, inventory, communication, and menu. And each blue box there points out specific issues that we noticed, such as outdated workflow, station overlap, and stock out that led to the kitchen inefficiency, which is that red dot there. This diagram helps show how all the little things can build into bigger issues and lead to the biggest issue, which is kitchen inefficiency. Overall, we were able to put our problems into three specific categories, being process efficiency, workflow, and communication and coordination, all of which I talked about just now. Um, Efficiency being like the outdated workflows, the inconsistent prep, the workflow structure being stations in the kitchen overlapping, unclear roles, and the POS systems, the technology systems that we talked about, as well as communication, which also is a part of the technology systems. We're not using them correctly, structured incorrectly, which leads to the kitchen bottleneck effect that I was talking about. Um, the bottleneck being that front of house is able to get these tables in, they're getting it all set up, but we can't work as efficiently and turn over these tables if our kitchen's not working efficiently. Um, we have too many high labor dishes. Takes forever, especially in peak times when you don't have a ton of time to like throw a dish down, run to another dish, and you have to work on one specific dish, the high labor dish. It slows things down. We don't have like peak hour prep plan. It just slows the bottleneck slows down the restaurant as a whole, which I can show you in this visualization right here. This visualization shows that we have good steps to the system, and then we hit this bottleneck. Both the red boxes being our bottlenecks there, which leads to our higher wait or ticket times being like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes I did notice while I was there, they get up quite high sometimes during our super peak busy times, just leading to overall operational efficiency being lower, which leads to our bottleneck effect being that our front of house is our front of house. I did notice the front of house is super efficient. They're good at setting people. They're good at servers are good at getting to people. But kitchen, when the peak hours hit, they slow everything down, including front of house, because we can't get these tables up and out if we can't get the food to them, just leading to lower revenue.
Next up is table turn and ticket time issues. When the kitchen slows, table turnover slows. This reduces revenue and increases the wait list. What slows table turns? Number 1, food arriving slower. And number 2, guests sitting longer because the meals come late. And then number 3, servers waiting on dishes before they can close the checks. And lastly, bussers unable to clear tables quickly. Each one of these can induce 5 to 10 more extra minutes, and that adds up to 20 to 40 minutes of extra time just for the next customer to come in and eat. And another reason was waste, and running out of supplies creates a domino effect within the restaurant. Why waste happens: overestimating prep, inefficient portioning, no tracking system, low selling menu items, still prep heavy. And why inventory shortages happen: no consistent par levels, poor shift-to-shift communication, and inconsistent ordering cycles. These problems cost money and slow down the kitchen. Our solution focuses on efficiency and practicality. They don't require major innovations or expensive technology like others restaurants would do. This solution focuses on kitchen workflow improvements, menu simplification, waste reduction, inventory management, and better use of technology for the restaurant. These changes can be implemented quickly and produce immediate results. So solution number 1, we came up with to improve our kitchen workflow. Directly, we can do this by reducing ticket times and remove bottlenecks. Our recommendations to complete this were reorganizing the station and reduce crowding. Also, batch cook high demand items during rushes. This so we can get the harder items to cook out of the way. That means less time. And then we could also assign a dedicated expediter during peak times. Create a daily rush hour prep list. Pre-portion more ingredients before opening. And then the expected benefits from doing these: we will get faster ticket times, more consistency, less stress for the kitchen, and faster tables turned, And for solution number 2, we came up with menu optimization. Not all menu items are worth keeping. Simplifying the menu helps the kitchen work faster and more consistently. Menu recommendations that we came up with: to remove or modify low-selling items, limit complex dishes during peak hours, highlight high-profit popular items. And we also came up with adjusting prep requirements for time-consuming dishes. and then rework recipes so they're quicker and they don't require multiple stations at once. And our outcome for the solution would be to get a faster, cleaner menu, faster kitchen workflow overall. And solution number 3, waste reduction strategies. So reducing waste cuts costs and improves prep efficiency largely. And the key actions we will take to induce these, we will use standardized dough portion tools, prep salads in smaller batches, only prep hamburger meat to match demand patterns, track daily waste in a log, and also use data to adjust prep amounts weekly. And finally, the financial impact of doing this, we expect a 10 to 20% waste reduction, and we'll save thousands per year by inducing this solution.
All right, thank you, Hudson. I'm going to be taking over this presentation from here, and I'm going to go ahead and take us on home. So for solution number 4, we have better technology use. We're going to use processes like Toast and Sling that are going to be able to offer more value and allow Radius to be on top of stuff before it becomes an issue. So basically just being more proactive. These improvements that we're going to be looking at are analyzing Toast data to predict the rushes, understand when it's going to be a little bit more busier than other times in the day. We're going to use the kitchen display screens to our advantage to be able to communicate and then run the kitchen more efficiently. We're going to use Sling for shift-wide announcements. This is going to allow us to stay on top of communication and just be able to do it quick, fast, and in a hurry. We're going to implement real-time notifications for 86 items. So basically items that are low or items that are going to be running out so that we can communicate that to the customers, the staff, management will know about it. Everybody's going to be on the same page. We're going to track inventory through Toast. The whole outcome that we're looking for in this whole situation is just having clear communication and being able to look forward to understand issues before they become issues. All right, next up, our report structure. On this slide, I want to quickly outline what our report is actually delivering. On this slide, I want to quickly outline what our report is trying to get accomplished. On this slide, I want to quickly outline what our report is getting accomplished. Our goal is to give Radius a clear roadmap to fix their operational challenges and not just those surface level observations that anybody can pretty much pick out and see. The report included 4 major sections. First, our problem definition. We identified that the kitchen efficiency was pretty much the core problem that led to every other issue at Radius. So everything else was pretty much symptoms of that major issue. Second, our detailed analysis. We use flow charts and root cause analysis to pinpoint exactly where breakdowns happen and why they're happening. Third, proposed solutions. We develop 5 realistic recommendations that don't require large investments, but will make a big, significant impact. Finally, our conclusion, we end with a clear and achievable path forward that Radius can easily implement, and they can do this immediately. Next, those real issues at Radius. This slide lays out real problems that Radius is facing, especially during those peak hours. On the left, we start with performance issues. Ticket times stretch from 15 to 20 minutes to even longer during those rushes, which slow everybody down. Tables only turn every 45 to 60 minutes, even though they could be turning faster. Customers end up waiting 15 to 20 minutes for food, and the kitchen becomes the main bottleneck. We also highlight where the money is being lost. Inconsistent dough portioning, expired ingredients, and running out of items like pizza boxes and Scotch eggs during these busy times. All of these issues directly impact revenue. On the right side, we're going to show the root causes behind these symptoms. Radius is using outdated workflows that cannot handle increased volume. Kitchen stations get in each other's way. There's no one coordinating orders during these rushes. Communication between the front and the back of the house is pretty non-existent, for being honest. There's no one coordinating orders during rushes, and the menu is more complicated than it needs to be due to items that are pretty low selling or pretty much not being ordered at all. Overall, the kitchen isn't failing because people aren't trying. It's failing because the system and processes are not built for the level of demand that Radius has. Radius is one of the most popular restaurants in Emporia, so they have to update those things. So our left column are the symptoms, then the right column is the real causes. Next up, expected results. Now we move into what Radius can expect if they implement our solutions that are being recommended. On the left, we show the 4 main solution areas. Kitchen workflow is number 1. We organize in stations so staff is not in each other's way, and the prep for the food can be done in a more efficient and smarter fashion. Menu optimization is very important. Take off those low selling items so that the kitchen can focus on what the customers are actually ordering. Waste reduction. Standardizing prep based on real demand to reduce expired or wasted ingredients. Number 4, inventory management. Setting proper levels so Radius never runs out of these key items during peak times. Once again, being proactive and seeing an issue before it becomes one. On the right, we outline the outcomes: faster ticket times, higher table turnover, less food waste, and more accurate inventory. Improve staff morale, and this also means shorter wait times for customers and higher revenue during peak hours. These improvements are not just fixing the kitchen, but they are improving both customer experience and overall profitability. To wrap up our presentation, Radius already has strong food, a strong demand, and a loyal customer base. Like I said, it's one of the most popular restaurants in Emporia. The food's really good. The environment's really nice. And pretty much what we've seen throughout this presentation is that it's not missing the customers. It's not missing the good food. It's not missing that connection to the community. It's just missing those systems, those strong systems that are in place that can help with improving the growth of Radius. By improving the kitchen workflow, reducing waste, and strengthening the communication between the people in the restaurant, the different teams and the different departments, or however you want to call it, they also have to use the technology that they have at their disposal more efficiently and effectively. Radius can perform at a much higher level with the exact same staff in the same building. The key point is these solutions are simple, realistic, and they're effective. Radius does not need massive renovations or any large investments or any money being thrown at the problems. They just need better systems and processes. All right. Now on to our Q&A. Please let us know any questions that you have. We will be more than happy to answer them. And thank you for listening to our presentation.